Hey guys, Colorado Camperman Brian here. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to install and replace the vinyl inserts that are likely on the corners of your camper. So I purchased this on Amazon. I'll put a link to where I bought it. But I bought this on there, and I bought it because on one side of our camper, we had a really bad hailstorm, and it just completely destroyed this insert. So it was already kind of getting a little bit of brittle just from UV rays and stuff, but then the hailstorm just did it in. While I'm doing this, I'm also going to install these little RV gutter spouts. I'm going to do that in a separate video, so I'll put a link to this video, but I have to take off the screw for this and for that spout, so I figured it'd be a great time to do that. But anyways, I'll first show you guys the tools you're going to need for this project. I'll show you guys how to install these little vinyl inserts. So let's get started. Alright guys, so here's all the tools that you're going to need for this project. I'll put Amazon links in the description of where you guys can buy this stuff, or obviously you can get this stuff at your local hardware store. I use a pair of scissors as well as a blade in order to cut this to length. Obviously you're going to need your vinyl insert. I used a caulk gun and Big Stretch clear caulking. I'm waiting on die core to come in from Amazon. Everything's backed up right now because of the virus, so I used this, and even if I had the die core, I would still use this and the die core. But anyways, I used a 5-in-1 and then a square bit screwdriver, a number 2, a rag, and then the ladder I use is an extend incline ladder. I'm a painting contractor, and I've had this thing for years. At first I had bought the cheaper versions of these on Amazon, and literally they've broken on me and my guys while on them. The ladder breaks down nicely, so it doesn't take up a lot of space, but yet it goes up 16 feet. So this ladder is awesome. I did use a 6-foot step ladder as well. So we are going to start at this end. Now there is a screw under here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our blade and we're going to cut through the die core here. We're going to get that screw head exposed. Unscrew that. There's that. Pop this out. You can see how brittle this is. It cracked as I was doing that. Ours broke off up here, so that's it. But otherwise, you just start at one corner and then just peel it off. And then we have all this excess die core here that we're just going to be very careful with when we're cutting. We're going to take a rag and wipe out the track. Some of these screw heads you guys may notice too might be loose, so now is a good time to torque them down. And you want to look to see if yours has been open for a while. Make sure that there doesn't appear to be any rust or any water intrusion. At least underneath our camper there is that butyl tape, I think is what it's called, underneath. So this should be sealed under here, even though parts of it was exposed. So now that we got that out, we're going to grab our new piece and go ahead and get it laid in here. Alright, so now we have our roll here. And a little tip is make sure this stuff is not cold, because it is a little bit more pliable and works a little better if you do it when it's warm. So I'm going to go ahead and just pop one side in here. The first little bit to get started is kind of the hardest to get both sides, but basically you get one side in and you have to kind of squeeze it to pop the other side in. And again, if it's warmer, it's a little bit more pliable and it'll work with you a little bit better. And once you get the second side going, it's then a little easier to work as well. We basically do that and then just go on down the line. And I'll show you guys what we're going to do when we get on down to the bottom here. Alright, so we're down at the bottom here, getting ready to finish this off. Now ours, I tried unscrewing this screw because I thought that this was maybe screwed up here, and it's not. So I don't know exactly how this thing is in here, but I'm just going to go ahead and cut it off. And then I'm just going to have this come on down. And one other thing I noticed while I was doing this that can make it easier too is actually if you just pinch both sides. And this is where it helps if it's in the sun warming up, or if it's a warmer day, it's a lot easier. This thing's a lot more pliable. So now that I have this down here, then I'm just going to take my blade and just cut off like that. And then I am going to go ahead and put some big stretch down here. You know, not a whole lot of moisture should get up here. I mean, there's just a teeny tiny gap, but since I do have the big stretch, I'm just going to go ahead and use it. Alright, so now that we got our new insert in, we do have that screw back here if you remember. Now, I remember it was about 1/4 of an inch from the back, so I'm just going to put a super small hole. Oops. Put a real small hole in the insert, like that. And I'm going to take my screw Alright, so now that we got everything done here, I'm just going to wipe everything down real good. Get it clean. And if I have my Dicor, this is Dicor right here, I'll just put a huge old big bead along here. But I'm going to use the big stretch, which I typically actually use the big stretch where my rubber in this corner meet. Because it's clear, so I am going to do that right now as well around the whole campfire after I get done with this. But the big stretch is awesome. And it goes, you'll see here, it goes on white, but it does dry clear, which is really nice. Now, since I'm up on the roof here, I don't necessarily care about how it looks as much as I care about it getting it sealed up. So I'm going to use a lot of sealant, just because again I don't really care how it looks. I care more about function and protecting things. I'm just going to put it all along here where there's a crack and anywhere else where I see a crack, and then for sure at this end I want to get this head covered up. I'm going to get this end sealed up. Get that all nice and sealed. And again, this will dry clear. Now, even though this dries clear, you don't want to be super sloppy and have a bunch of excess if it is a visible area, because it will show and it's going to look kind of gross. Got a little bit of excess up here, so I'm just going to clean it off. Cool. And that is it. Alright guys, well that does it for this install video. Overall, very easy project for sure. I'm always a happy camper whenever I have a project like this that goes easy and smooth and you don't need a lot of tools. Because if you own a camper out there, I'm sure you know there is no shortage of projects and maintenance to do on your camper. So when it's easy like this, that's always a bonus. But anyways, thank you guys for checking out this video. Throw a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.